Good evening, you're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. As Dalit teachers at the University of Hyderabad attack HRD Minister Smriti Irani for her version of Rohith's suicide, calling her version misleading and a misrepresentation of facts, is growing campus unrest going to be the new headache for the Modi government? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Also, we'll be joined by the only Indian American in the US Congress, Ami Bera, the co-chair of the Powerful India Caucus, says that more American lawmakers are questioning aid to Pakistan after the Pathankot attack. That interview playing out in a little while from now. But first, more drama at the Hyderabad University campus today, where the Dean of Student Welfare, who is a Dalit, told NDTV he never headed the executive committee that expelled the Dalit students as claimed by Smriti Irani. He was only co-opted, he said. Speaking to Uma Sudhir, he in fact said he had opposed the punishment to the students. Meanwhile, the university today revoked the suspension of the 4 other Dalit students who, along with Rohith, had been kicked out. It was a decision which was earlier strongly defended by the university's vice-chancellor, but comes after 15 Dalit teachers resigned yesterday, accusing Smriti Irani of distorting facts. The teachers have now withdrawn their resignations, saying that their presence in the university will help the Dalit students. But protesting students say they will not be appeased so easily.
Union HRD Minister Smriti Irani had misrepresented facts. Dean of Student Welfare at Hyderabad Central University says he was only co-opted into the executive committee and never headed it. Smriti Irani had said a Dalit headed the committee that decided to punish Rohith and his friends.
So the committee was constituted with the EC subcommittees. The executive council members are 5 members are there. Professor Vipin Srivastav is was the chairman of that committee, and other members, 4 members are there from EC members. I was co-opted as Dean Students Welfare since I know the case from day 1 onwards. So it's only to provide the sufficient information. However, I also participated in the deliberations and the discussions.
Were you satisfied with that justice was done in that committee?
No, I already expressed in the committee and said that this kind of punishment will always hamper the students' academic growth and academic career. So then I asked the committee not to go ahead in toto with the proclamatory decision to rusticate them for 1 semester completely.
Meanwhile, students burnt copies of the order revoking the suspension of 4 Dalit students. The students say the Executive Council has quoted extraordinary circumstances instead of apologizing for previous mistake. Union HRD Minister Smriti Irani had said this is not a Dalit versus non-Dalit issue, but protesting students and teachers had said she would instead try to make it into a Dalit versus Dalit issue. And in anger, they had said all the Dalit teachers would resign from their administrative posts. But post the suspension revocation, they have all decided not to resign. In Hyderabad with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
Well, joining us on the program tonight, we have Professor Dinesh Singh, the former Vice-Chancellor of Delhi University, who's had his own rather infamous run-ins with the HRD ministry. We have Sudhanshu Trivedi, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Mr. Madhu Gaudiaski, Spokesperson of the Congress Party. Dr. Ramdas Rupawat is an Associate Professor and at the Department of Political Science in Hyderabad University, and in fact has resigned from the Admissions Committee there. And Harita Sundar, who's a member of the ABVP, joins us. Ajoy Bose, author and columnist, here in the studio with us. Professor Dinesh Singh, let me begin with you, sir, first. Having been a Vice-Chancellor yourself, looking at today's developments in particular, where the suspension of the other Dalit students who had been suspended along with Rohith was revoked by the VC today, many today are criticizing that, saying that, he was the one who had strongly defended the suspensions in the first place, even after Rohith's suicide. He came forward and he said that he believed that he had done the right thing and that the university had done the right thing at a time. As a former Vice-Chancellor yourself, how do you look at this, revocation today?
Well, since I'm not familiar with the facts of the case in detail, it's very hard for me to, make a sort of incisive comment. However, it does strike one as a bit odd that you come forward with punishment and you withdraw it soon thereafter. So I have no idea if they applied due process and applied their mind. There is a judicial wisdom here that every time you take such steps, when you punish someone, you're supposed to apply your mind, and it isn't enough that you apply your mind, you must show that you applied your mind. I have no idea if they followed that dictum or not, but it does strike one as a little odd.
It does strike you as a little odd. I'm going to come to this issue of the central ministry and the issue of interference in universities. But Sudhanshu Trivedi, how do you react today, one, to the Dalit professors at Hyderabad University who have attacked the HRD minister? They've accused her of misleading the nation, of misrepresenting facts, and in fact, the Dean of Student Welfare, Mr. Babu, who has given us an interview, has said he never headed that committee that decided to punish those boys, that in fact he opposed the punishment to them, whereas Smriti Irani yesterday claimed that there was a Dalit professor heading that committee. How do you respond, Sudhanshu Trivedi, to all these counter questions that are now being raised today?
There are two aspects of this problem. One is the factual and another is the political. On the factual aspect, you should also try to put those facts that the student of ABVP, who said that he has been beaten up by the accused or by the bereaved person or the ASA Students Union, his mother has moved to court because the university has not taken any decision. And when court has asked about the action taken report, which has been categorically explained by the Vice Chancellor in his statement that he has to take action under the pressure from court, not from the university, not from the government. Why you are not putting this fact? Second thing, who is heading the committee? Those who are well versed with the university structure command, they know that Executive Council is always headed by Vice Chancellor. None other than Vice Chancellor can head the Executive Council. The Discipline Committee or the Proctorial Board or the Dean of Student Welfare, they can be headed by any of the professor. And Dean of Student Welfare primarily deals with, and which is headed by a Dalit professor, which you yourself have accepted.
No,
all
he is
the
not heading it.
Of the university.
He is not heading it. It's a Professor Vipin Srivastava. It's a Professor Vipin Srivastava who headed that subcommittee, not the Dalit professor. He's denying it. How do you, I mean, he's completely contradicting what the HRD minister has said.
I am talking about who is Dean Student Welfare. And second thing,
yeah, go ahead.
And second thing,
it is the
about the so-called intervention of
the
HRD ministry and the member of parliament, why you are not putting this fact that the court of the University of Hyderabad is having 5 members of parliament as their member, 3 from Lok Sabha and 2 from Rajya Sabha. Then obviously when member of parliament are the member of the body of the university, then they will have to say something and there should be some reaction of something.
Mr. Trivedi, you're not answering my question.
Put in proper context.
The teachers, Mr. Yaski, please, if you could just hold on so that everybody could get a chance to speak. I would like to request everyone to keep this debate civil. It's absolutely frustrating to do this with everyone shouting. But, Mr. Trivedi, let me ask you this. The teachers put out a press release yesterday. One, and now the professor himself says that, look, I was not heading that subcommittee that decided to punish these students. They are denying that. They, in fact, are saying that the Honorable Minister misled the nation by observing that the hostel wardens have suo motu powers to expel the students. It's just a coincidence that the chief warden is a Dalit and he only implemented the orders of higher authorities. They've called this a baseless and misleading statement from the Education Minister, Mr. Trivedi, on this specific allegation being made by all these teachers who actually resigned over this. What would you say to that?
There are certain facts which has to be come out after the inquiry. If we go about this such an intricate facts, then there is also a fact that ASA has put up a poster that their students have gone to the room of the
HRD minister holds a press conference, Mr. Trivedi. If the HRD minister holds a press conference,
if you are going, even let me complete the sentence.
Yeah.
Even the question about his caste has also raised in media. So all the things, instead of going into nitty-gritties and we becoming the judge, let the university's investigating committee come out with the facts, then we should have any reaction.
All right, Dr. Rupawat, let me ask you, as a professor there at the university today, what is it going to take to actually diffuse tensions there? The students are refusing to accept the revocation of the suspensions. They say that their protest will continue. How do you firstly react to the revocation of these suspensions, sir, and the Vice Chancellor's total turnaround on this?
Yeah, his problem is here is that there is a conflict between, you can say that there is a super, one can think that those who are outsider, they cannot understand the internal problem. There is a conflict between two groups India and Bharat, the majority people are discriminating. The minorities are discriminating the majority people here. So the problem is that I can say that the India and Bharat, there are two groups here. The SC, ST, BC, these are the two groups. They are discriminating by the minority groups. These are called the maybe Western educated class, that the elite groups. Maybe, yeah, you can say they revocated, but what happened, this boy who committed suicide, what is his fate? He came from such a background, from rural area, first generation. What is his fate? He revocated, maybe VC and Executive Council, they revoked the suspensions. But what is the fate? Who sacrificed his life for the Dalit community?
What is it that the teachers and the students now want, sir? That's my question. What is it that is demanded?
Yeah, they are demanding that. There are five or six demands. First one is to sack the Vice Chancellor of this university. Second one is two ministers and one MLC. Third one is compensation to this the boy. So these are the three demands. The people are now, we are here, for, they are demanding that to first of all, you sack the Vice Chancellor and the ministers, three ministers, maybe 2 or 3 ministers, Smriti Irani, Bandar Dattatreya, these are the people are responsible for this boy. So they are demanding, still they are demanding that we have to fulfill these demands. So.
Okay. So you're saying what the bottom line is as far as the demands are concerned. Mr. Yaski, let me widen this debate a little bit, which we've been trying to do for a couple of days, which is to ask about this worrying trend of suicides by Dalit students in various, institutions of higher learning over the last 10 years. This is not something that has just happened in Hyderabad, unfortunately. There have been some 8 to 9 cases in the last decade. There's an alarming statistic about 23 Dalit students taking their own lives at the AIIMS and the IITs in the last decade. And for that, doesn't every government have to answer? What did it do? What did it do to arrest this problem? I mean, this is not apathy that can be blamed on one government alone, Mr. Yaski.
Nidhi, please, God's sake, don't combine those suicides with the Rohith case. In this particular case here, the Vice Chancellor of Delhi, former Vice Chancellor, is also there. Each individual case may be different reasons. But here, the Rohith's case, if you look at it, the facts, it's bizarre and it's unfortunate. Even the BJP spokesman still trying to defend. If you look at yesterday's Smriti Irani's statement, now the students of Hyderabad University stand as vindicated, and what they were been saying, it's an institutional murder, and it is clear. The affidavit submitted yesterday to the Honorable High Court of Hyderabad, the registrar, Mr. Pandu Reddy, stated those evidence was exaggerated, and the Cyberabad police which investigated, it was a simple bruises, there is no major injury on the ABVP activist. And Registrar further said in the High Court that his mother went to High Court just to gain a sympathy, and this is clearly vindicate. Yesterday Smriti Irani try and say, lie to the nation, saying that it's a sub judice, and if it is sub judice, why did they revoke these 4 other students' suspension here? I'm coming to your answer to your main question. In this particular case, this is an institution led by the Vice Chancellor, handpicked by Smriti Irani on the recommendation of Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, is a close relative of him. VC's, the former Vice Chancellor, acting Vice Chancellor Mr. R.P. Sharma, refused to act on the suspension, and when he took over in September 22nd, on the pressure from the HRD ministry, he acted immediately and suspended the students. One is clear here. The complicity of the Vice Chancellor acted on the instructions of the
You're
minister.
saying that is what distinguishes this case.
Minister and VC
no, but Mr. Yaski, you're saying that's what distinguishes this case from previous ones.
There is a student.
Why shouldn't previous cases get politicized
committing suicide in Kota?
And there be some serious introspection about why this is happening in our institutions of higher learning.
Well, let me come on that. There is a High Court of Rajasthan asking why the students are committing suicide in Kota.
Yes.
In this year itself. Why the students, maybe this is precisely, if you read the letter, 18th December on 2015, Rohith written to the Vice Chancellor how the Dalit students been discriminated. Let me come to you. In Central University of Hyderabad, over 498 professors. How many belong to Dalit and marginalized classes? It is UPA government introduced this 27% reservation, where a weaker sections coming from a rural
Mr. Yasky,
background.
you're not
I went to
answering my
Jilla Parshat
question.
school. If I competing, this is exactly why this committing suicides means the different
there have been a
reasons.
number of
But
Dalit
don't club
suicides
this
in the
reason.
last decade,
This is
and you know it is
not
not
only
about one
Dalit. Why you
political
picking
party.
up only Dalit, Nezi?
No,
Why
but
only
this,
picking
because
up
we're
Dalit?
talking about caste
There may be other
discrimination.
students also committing
Because
suicide.
here we're talking about caste
How many-
discrimination. I want Ajoy to come in. Ajoy Bose
It
to
is.
come in first on this particular
It is.
case.
No, quickly,
and then I'd like to go
quick
back
point.
to Professor Singh
You
for a
please-
moment. One
no,
second, Mr. Yasky.
please
Let me
bring
just get
how many
everyone's first
students have
comments in.
committed suicide
Let me just
among-
get everyone's first
please
comments in.
quickly
1
answer
second.
this. You said politicize. Who
Yes.
politicizes? Is it ministers of BJP? MLCs politicizes? Who has written it? Were you blaming the opposition parties for politicizing it? If opposition parties is not involved, or members of parliament not involved, and if you not stood by the cause of those underprivileged
I don't think
students,
there's
where
anything
the
wrong with
systematic in the last
politicizing
20
it
months,
if
there is a
it
discrimination
raises
going
awareness
on
about an
against
issue.
the
My
weaker
point is
section
it
students.
selective
Dalit,
politicization?
even in the
Is
higher
this a bigger
education,
problem?
or even in
But
Haryana
I want to,
places.
one second, Mr. Yasky, 1 second. Ajoy Bose, what I
You
want to
cannot
talk
get
about
away
tonight
from
is,
the Prime
1 second,
Minister
Mr.
and
Yasky,
DC.
please,
All right,
can you let
murdering
everyone else
Rohith.
speak?
Okay.
Thank you. I am asking Mr.
It's
Ajoy
a serious
Bose
matter.
that
You cannot club-
when you look at the trends, and I am asking this question, you know, because of an interesting article I read this morning, that whether it is FTII or other campuses, you know, is this going to be a new headache for the government where, you know, something's going on and young India is unhappy?
Oh, absolutely. I think there are two issues which we should not confuse with each other. One is the harassment of Dalit students and the angst of Dalit students, which have been happening for over the past decade or more, and across various governments, across universities, and this is something serious. We should not minimize it. But the other case, and this particular case, is a political case. It is a political agenda of the present government to target radicalized Dalit groups, and we saw that in IIT in Madras, where the Ambedkar Periyar group was banned. They were denied facilities to auditoriums. There was a huge controversy, almost like a precursor, a rehearsal to what has happened now, which has resulted in a death. Now, this is a very disturbing thing, Nidhi, because who is a minister to declare a student group which may be taking on the establishment, may be protesting against a hanging, may be doing anything as anti-national? A minister saying that and then putting pressure on an university to expel them? Are we going to allow our university campuses to become monochrome institutions? You will have young people raising all kinds of questions, may not be even mainstream, may be uncomfortable questions, but this is a democracy. And to say that do not politicize it is ridiculous, because on the one hand, you have an Ambedkar group, and Ambedkar groups cannot be apolitical, because Ambedkar said that politics is the master key to the emancipation of Dalits. And secondly, the ABVP, which is a student wing of a political party. So this is a political fight going on. So why are we in denial?